Do you want to stay more focused on the right goals in your life, or even just figure out what the right goals are for you? Do you want clarity? Do you want better work-life balance? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Success Through Failure.
Welcome to the Success Through Failure podcast, the show that reveals failure as your path to success. You'll listen to intriguing interviews with some of the most successful people on the planet and learn how their failures became a launchpad for success and how yours can too. Here's your host, former Division I All-American wrestler, former Division I head coach, speaker, and personal coach, Jim Harshaw.
Welcome to another episode of Success Through Failure. This is your host, Jim Harshaw, and here we go again. Another solo episode. I've been trying to do these like every other episode, and I've been pretty consistent with that for the most part over the past few months. Sometimes I'll do two in a row of these or two in a row of the interviews, but just trying to get more of these in here because there's so much that comes out of my conversations with clients that I feel like I just have to share this stuff directly with you. So I'm sharing with you things that I discuss, things that I learn through conversations with clients, through things that I read, through personal growth that I'm going through, even training sessions and leadership sessions that I'm attending, that sort of thing. So I want to share this stuff with you as much as possible. And just a quick update on the personal side of things. Things are going well. We're here. I don't know when you're listening to this, but it's summertime right now when I'm recording this. And of course, you could be listening to this, any time of year. But summer's going well for the Harshaw clan. We just joined the rock climbing gym, family membership to the rock climbing gym. We actually have rock climbing holds on the wall in our toy room. Actually, about probably longer than that, 6 or 8 years ago, I asked for my birthday present, that we could get rock climbing holds to put on the walls in the toy room. And because I just wanted to, I love watching my kids climb and do stuff like that. So anyway, we have like 25 rock climbing holds spread out across the wall, 2 walls in our toy room. But anyway, the kids have pretty much outgrown that, especially the older ones. My oldest is 13 now. I got a teenager. It's scary. He'll be 14 actually in September. But so now we have a rock climbing gym membership, which is pretty awesome. We've been there a handful of times over the years, but kids are just natural climbers, man. Get them outside, get them doing stuff. Shouldn't say outside. This is inside. This is an inside thing, but get them doing active stuff, right? And they just love it, right? They put down their stupid iPads and iPhones and video devices and electronics, and they are just so, just kids, right? So it's so much fun. Anyway, so let's dive into today's episode. I had a call with a client recently who he was off course, but get ready for a gasp. We decided it was the right thing. He was off course in his life, off course with his core values, off course of his goals, and we decided, that's right, that this was the right thing. Why? We decided, he told me, right now, it's been hard to spend as much time with his kids as he wants. It's been hard to schedule the date night with his wife. And he's not prioritizing. We talked about, let's not prioritize that right now. Why? Why is that okay? Why is it okay to go against all of the things that I always tell you to do? Live by your core values. Focus on your core values. Be driven by your goals. Your daily actions should be driven by your goals and have this environment of excellence and follow through, right? I've even gone off course. I'd say right now I'm off course in one area of my life. I want to run a marathon. I haven't checked that box yet, so I've got to do that. Just feel like I have to do that. And I'm not training for one right now. Don't even have it. I actually have it on the horizon, but it's just not the right time for me right now. I've chosen not to do that. I've chosen to work out less than I would like to work out. Now, I'm still working out, of course, but I'm not doing everything I want in that area of my life. I'll give you another area of my life where I went off course recently, intentionally. I decided this was the right thing. I am avoiding all just junk food through the rest of the summer, just not eating donuts, cake, ice cream, that sort of thing. And there was a time, about 2 weeks ago, I had an ice cream. I didn't want it. I actually didn't want it. I actually was not in the mood for an ice cream. Go figure, right? I don't know what got into me, but I was not in the mood to have an ice cream. So why did I choose to have an ice cream? One of my kids was having a really hard time, just emotionally struggling with some things. He was off. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take him out, get him out of the house. And to be honest, I know you're not supposed to like soothe with food, but I chose to do it, right? Consciously, knowingly chose to say, hey, let's go get an ice cream. Let's just, me and you, let's get out of the house, get away from everybody here, get out of the neighborhood. Let's go have an ice cream and take a walk. And guess what? That's exactly what we did. Broke him out of his shell, got him out of this bad place he was. We went, got an ice cream, drove around the corner, and took a long walk around the lake. And we had an ice cream. And that was the right thing to do. I chose to break my habit, not be consistent, not do the thing that I knew I wanted to do, which is avoid junk food. And I did it, right? Why is that okay? Why is that okay? Here's why. Are you ready? It's okay to go off course when, number one, it's intentionally and thoughtfully done. And number two, if you know how to get back on course. Listen, you're not going to be perfect. Sometimes you're going to go off course and not know it. It's not going to be intentional. It's not going to be thoughtful. But as long as you know how to get back on course, that's okay. If you don't know how to get back on course, that's where problems arise. That's what happens. A lot of people drift off course. They're not intentional. They're not aware. They're not mindful that they drifted off course. And they look up a week later, a month later, a year later, 10 years later, a lifetime later, and they say, man, I've been off course. I didn't know I was off course. I didn't choose to go off course. I drifted. I let the wind blow me. I got pushed by the whims of society, by social media, by my friends, by my self-doubt. And I didn't know how to get on course. I didn't even know where the course was. But as long as you're aware, if you can be aware that you're off course, if you can be mindful, if you can have the presence of mind to know that you're off course, that's the first step. If you know how to get back on course, where the course is, that's the next step. I don't even know what the statistic is, right? There's this great statistic about airplanes, right? I think I heard it from Stephen Covey first, but airplanes are off course like 90% of the time. They're constantly course correcting. You don't want to be way off course, but sometimes you're going to have to stray off course, right? Airplanes are, typically close to on course and they're constantly course correcting, and that's fine. But listen, sometimes you're going to have to choose to go off course. So why? Why was it okay for my client to go off course? Because he had an area of his life where he had to really focus on. There's something blowing up in his business, and all of these goals are tied together. No area of your life stands alone, right? You can't be like super healthy and fit and not have that affect your relationship. You can't have, a good work situation and have that not affect your health and wellness and your well-being. Like, these things are all tied together, right? So he chose, and we chose together to say, okay, listen, these couple of action items, these couple of micro goals, these kind of short-term goals that we're focusing on right now, let's put those aside just for the next week, maybe 2 weeks. Let's spend some extra time here at work, because if you don't get this right, when you come home, you're going to be more distracted. You're not going to be as focused on your wife and kids. If you don't get this right, you're not going to get as good a sleep. It's going to keep you up at night. You're going to be stressed. And that's going to affect your relationships. That's going to affect your health. It's going to affect other areas of your business. It was a conscious choice. He also knows how to get back on course. He knows what the path is. For me, working out, I'm off course. I'm on the course that I choose to be on right now, which is not the course that I can't wait to get on. And I'm going to run that marathon. I'm going to do that. But right now, I'm focused on other things, right? I'm allocating that time That time when you have to go out and do a 3-hour run on the weekends, I'm choosing to spend that time elsewhere, right? Family, some coaching sessions on Saturday mornings, etc. When I ate that ice cream, it was a choice. It was a conscious choice. I said, I know I'm doing this, and I'm okay because I know what my goal is. I know what my plan is. I know what my path is. I'm going to step off course for a reason, because there's something else important to me that aligns with my values, that is one of my goals. And, everybody talks about balance, and there's this sort of talk out there these days among, I don't know, people like me, I guess, like personal brand types, coaches, speakers, right? Who say, oh, there's no such thing as balance. It's now called work-life integration, because balance is no longer cool to say. It's not cool to talk about balance, right? It's work-life integration, right? I think Tony Robbins said that once, and everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Like, okay, it's not balance because you can't have balance. It's called work-life integration. And it's the same thing, right? We're talking about, you don't have to have balance. It doesn't have to, the scale doesn't have to balance out at the end of every day, not even every week. But if you're going to, like my client, if you're going to step off and go way out of balance, it's going to have to come back in balance at some point, right? Call it integrate, work-life integrate, call it whatever you want. It's balance. You may have to sway one direction. You may have to sway the other direction for a little while. You may have to focus on some area of your life, right? When things come up that are either predictable or unpredictable, right? If you choose to go back to school to get another degree or get some extra credits or certification, guess what? You're going to have to make conscious choices about other areas of your life. You say yes to one thing, taking classes. You have to say no to something else. Whatever that thing is, you have to say no to. Maybe it's watching football on Sundays, or maybe it's working out as much, or time with your kids, or time with your spouse, right? What are you going to choose to say no to? Those are hard things to say no to. Kids, spouse, I'm certainly not saying you should. You've got to find the balance. You've got to understand that you're going to go off course. Listen, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I don't care. The people you look up to, the people you see on Facebook, the people whose books you read, who tell you how to live, they're not perfect either. And goodness knows, I can't sit here and say by any stretch that I'm perfect. I struggle. I struggle with consistency. I struggle with focus. But I know my course. I know my path. And I know my weaknesses. I know one of my weaknesses is I want to know all the information before I make a decision. So you know what I do? I hedge against that, and I make the decision anyway, because I know it's my weakness. And you know why I'm able to do this? Because of the productive pause. I hit the pause button. I reflect. I pray. I meditate. I journal. I talk to my coach. I do these things. If you want to learn more about the productive pause, I talked about it way back in episode 16. You can't even find it on iTunes. It's that far back. Long ways back. I think iTunes just has the past 100 episodes. So anyway, you can grab that at jimharshawjr.com/1616. Or you can go to jimharshawjr.com/productive-pause, productive-pause. And I just have an article right there. It's actually been referenced in some other publications around the internet, that link. But it's just a kind of great breakdown of the productive pause. But when you do this, it helps you go, okay, I'm off course, or hey, I drifted off course, or I'm off course. I don't even know where my path is. Productive pause helps you discover where your path is. You've got to know if you want to get back on course, you get drifted off course, or you choose to go off course, you've got to know where your course is. And here's what I mean by that. I hate to keep giving you these nebulous, like get back on course, right? What does that mean? It means knowing your morning routine. What's your morning routine? What's the ideal morning routine? Have you written it down? Do you know what it is? Are you very clear on it? Is it working out? Is it drinking a big glass of water? Is it prayer? Is it journaling? What does it include? Listening to the Success Hotline, which is a big part of my morning routine. What's your morning routine? That's helps you get back on course. You might drift off course on vacation, right? If you're listening to this anytime after I recorded this, you probably got a vacation coming up in the summer here. You're probably going to drift off course on vacation. Maybe you drink a couple extra drinks. Maybe eat some extra junk food. Maybe you go to bed a little later. Whatever it is, it's okay if you know how to get back on course. Do you know what your values are? That's going to help you get back on course. Are you around the right people? they're going to help you get back on course? Who do you need to bring into your life, your environment of excellence, to help you get back on course? This is important too. Here's another piece. This is really important about going off course. If you're choosing to go off course, you've got to know what the minimum effective dose is, the minimum viable product for these other areas of your life. So the example I talked about, if you choose to go back to school, get a degree, get another degree, get a certification, whatever the case might be, if you're going to say no to your kids, your wife, your spouse, your husband, I'm not advocating for that, but you darn well better know what the minimum effective dose is. You can't just shut off that area of your life. You can't, right? You may not ever be able to get it back into balance. What's the minimum effective dose? What do you still have to do to keep that area of your life in balance as best you can? What's the minimum viable product for your workouts, right? That's what I'm doing right now. Minimum effective dose, minimum viable product. I know what I have to do to stay fit, do a couple really hard workouts every week, mixed in with a bunch of shorter workouts, and I'm pretty darn fit, probably compared to most people. That's my minimum viable product. That's fine. That's right. It's different for everybody. But you've got to know what that minimum effective dose is in the areas where you're saying no while you say yes to going off course. You've got to know what your course is. And I'm not talking about knowing what your course is, like where you're going to be in 10 years. I'm talking about knowing what your daily routines are, knowing what not only your goals, but your micro goals. Knowing what those are. Now, if you feel like you're off course, but it's just because you don't feel like being on course, like you don't feel like doing your morning routine, or you just don't feel like it, you don't have the motivation, the inspiration to get up and go back and listen to episode 198. I talk about how to get going when you don't feel like it. You don't feel like it. There are ways to get yourself going. That's 198. If there's a fear of getting on course, a fear of taking action, or you're just not taking that action, you're not moving on from something, there's a fear that's keeping you from getting on course, if you're not taking action, if you're not moving on from something, or you're not speaking up about something, check out my series on defining moments. You can find it in two places. You can go to jimharshawjr.com/defining moments, 4 episodes. 182, 183, 185, and 187. Listen, you don't have to remember all these. Just grab the action plan. Just go to jimharshawjr.com/action. I have all this listed in there. 4 episodes, 182, 183, 185, and 187. You can just go to /defining moments, and you'll find all of those right on my website there. You can grab all 4 of those episodes and get the link to those action plans. It's important that you understand this too. You're not the first one, right? You're not the first one to go off course. Man, I had this crazy conversation yesterday. With a woman, she's a heroin addict. And she's off course right now. She drifted off course. But she's been on course before. As a matter of fact, very recently. She took massive action. She got clean, but she fell off course after that. She understands what she needs to do. Man, it was a hard conversation. But I believe that she's going to get back on course. We talked a little bit about how to do that. But you have to know these daily routines and habits. You have to have the goals. You have to have clearly defined goals in every area of your life. Whether you're an addict trying to get clean, or a millionaire trying to make your next million, or trying to, millionaire trying to get your relationship back in balance or get healthy again, or if you're a marathon runner trying to go from 3 hours to 2 hours and 45 minutes, whatever you're trying to do, you have to have this clarity. And that's why the Reveal Your Path system is so effective. You have core values to base your life on. You have goals. You have smaller micro goals that support those goals. You have an environment of excellence. You have a plan for following through. And you can do that. It all comes down to the productive pause. Hit the pause button. Evaluate your life. I hope this helped. If you got value from this, I please ask you to share. Just share this. You can go to jimharshawjr.com/share. Man, I'm throwing a bunch of links at you today, huh? Or you can just tell someone, hey, go check out episode 204 of Success Through Failure. And they'll get access to this episode. Again, jimharshawjr.com/action for the action plan. And if you want to jump on a call, here's one more link for you. Really, one more, last one. JimHarshawJr.com/apply. Let's jump on a call. Let's talk this through. It's a free coaching call. Love to get to know my listeners. So I look forward to talking to you. And as always, take the time, the productive pause, take the time to get clear on your goals and embrace failure as a stepping stone on your path to success.